Oh yes, it's still Reggae Month, and later in the show, we have highlights of a concert to mark the 70th anniversary of the birth of Bob Marley, plus a group of persons who are steadfast in their commitment to improve their numeracy and literacy skills through an initiative being spearheaded by the Ministry of National Security. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for joining us for this Friday's edition of Jamaica Magazine, where we will focus on initiatives linked to 3 key government ministries. Stay with us.
The 2015-2016 financial year is almost here, and the government will be ready before April 1.
For the first time, we are going to be passing a budget before the end of the financial year.
The ceremonial opening of Parliament will be on Thursday, February 19, when the Governor-General will outline government's plans for the fiscal year. Then, later in the afternoon, another history-making move.
We shall be presenting the estimates of expenditure and the estimates of revenue at the same time.
It's a far more organized way to present the budget.
Parliament's Standing Finance Committee will then consider the budget on March 3 and 4, and the Finance Minister will open the budget debate on March 12. He will be followed by the opposition spokesman on finance on March 17, the leader of the opposition on March 19, and the Prime Minister on March 24. The Finance Minister will then wrap up the budget on March 25. The Government of Jamaica, keeping you at the center of government, improving to ensure better financial management.
Good day, I'm Carrie-Ann Smith, and this is your GIS News for Friday, February 13. At least one financial analyst has agreed with the government that given the fiscal constraints, there can be no massive salary increases in the public sector at this time. Dennis Chung's comments come amidst ongoing wage negotiations between government and public sector workers.
We're not going to have that increase that we're looking for in terms of improvement in incomes and benefits until we can start seeing some significant productivity improvements there, which is why the Public Sector Transformation Unit has to ensure that the transformation happens in short order.
In the meantime, the Finance Minister says the wage claims submitted by public sector trade unions so far are mixed, adding that while some unions understand the country's fiscal constraints, others have not yet grasped the full extent of the situation. Nonetheless, he says government is working to accommodate all parties at the negotiating table.
And see to what extent we can accommodate the claims. If there are non-cash elements that can be accommodated, we'll do so, but there is a limit.
Dr. Phillips was addressing a recent meeting with the Diplomatic Corps this week. The Ministry of Health expects to have Jamaica's Occupational Safety and Health Bill tabled in Parliament in the new legislative year. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, Colette Roberts-Risden, says the legislation, which is now in its 12th draft, is important to workers.
An indispensable component of the productivity improvement culture, which Vision 2030 seeks to nurture, is the need to safeguard the safety and health of workers.
Mrs. Roberts-Risden was speaking at a recent GIS think tank. She said the provisions in the legislation would give workers the protection required under the International Labour Organization (ILO) standards. She added that this would be good for Jamaica in light of the country's anticipated increased integration into the global economy through the Logistics Hub initiative.
There is need now to have legislation that not just deals with the whole matter of workers in factories and those safety standards, but workers generally in several different areas of employment.
Residents of Nannyville and the surrounding communities are set to enjoy the services of the newly refurbished Nannyville Health Center in southeast St. Andrew. The center was renovated at a cost of over $50 million and was officially opened by Health Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson on Wednesday.
We are on a move to improve the primary care infrastructure healthcare infrastructure right across the country. Only a week ago, we symbolically broke ground for the Hagley Park Clinic, where we'll be spending $42 million. We have just completed Golden Spring. Again, almost another $40 million.
Funding for the project was provided by the National Health Fund. Work included the erection of a chain-link boundary fence, paving of the parking lot, roof repairs and electrical and air conditioning works, in addition to furnishing and equipping the facility. Persons with epilepsy have benefited from $51.8 million in subsidy for medication under the National Health Fund NHF. The amount covered 45,122 claims over the period April 2014 to January 2015.
Last financial year, NHF beneficiaries enrolled for epilepsy filled 49,000 prescriptions and received subsidy payments of approximately $56 million. This is approximately 2% of the total subsidy paid out during that year.
Mr. Anderson was speaking at the Jamaica Library Service Tom Redcombe Drive headquarters in Kingston on Monday. At that function, the NHF handed over 500 children's books on epilepsy costing $360,000. They'll be distributed through the island-wide library network. Epilepsy is one of 15 chronic health conditions covered by the NHF. And finally, Jamaica has improved its ranking in World Press Freedom, moving from 17th position last year to a 9th place ranking among countries surveyed by Reporters Without Borders. Information Minister Senator Sandra Faulkner says it's a significant achievement which has come about through clear actions by the government to improve our media and communications environment. She adds that the access to information and the considerable expansion in the media landscape have also contributed to the improved position. Minister Faulkner has also released a statement calling for more youth-focused programs as Jamaica celebrates World Radio Day 2015 under the theme Youth and Radio. She has also called for support of the UNESCO Director General's charge to rally round radio and support its efforts to be more and do more for the cause of development. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Carrie Ann Smith. Thanks for watching.
It is a wonderful program to be in because it helps you to get some form of income. It helps you to experience a lot of things, more experience in your work, development, punctuality, patience as well, using your initiatives, creativity, persistence, the drive to go on.
The best program I see so far right now in Jamaica. I do a lot of things to the young youths like me right now. CSJP has been a main breadwinner for me. That's where I get my bread and stuff like that. That's where I get experience, I get to know other people and stuff like that.
The Citizen Security and Justice Program, CSJP, an initiative of the Ministry of National Security, promoting positive values and attitudes while empowering unattached youth in volatile communities.
The Ministry of National Security, through the Citizen Security and Justice Program, continues to partner with different organizations to boost the capacity of those in the inner city. Take a look at an initiative to improve the numeracy and literacy skills of some of those residents.
Instead, I'm a new woman, walk up and down. I can't just know, say, yeah, wake up in the morning, I go to school, go and do something.
We learned from some basic English and maths.
Well, it's a wonderful experience dealing with the student from the inner city.
Positive reviews from participants in a program to boost literacy, numeracy and vocational skills. It's part of efforts to achieve strategic priority number 4 on government's agenda, human capital development, building the capacity of individuals so they can effectively contribute to the nation's growth. The Ministry of National Security through the Citizen Security and the Justice Program CSJP has been working with non-government organization Operation Friendship as well as the Jamaica Foundation for Lifelong Learning JFLL to offer remedial training to persons in vulnerable communities. CSJP, which targets unattached youth in volatile communities, recruits the youngsters. Operation Friendship facilitates the training at its institution, and JFLL provides the math and English teachers.
To deliver a 10-month pre-vocational program, which was aimed at 1, improving literacy levels, as well as their social skills with minimal exposure to general construction.
Using aspects of the constant practicing teaching method, classwork, assignments, tests, and projects, students were prepared for the hard trust entrance exam. If successful, they would move on to CSJP's vocational program, which provides advanced skills training at Hard Trust NTA.
Okay, today we're going to be talking about synonyms. Have you ever heard the word synonyms before?
Kind and generous.
Vacant, empty.
Messy and dirty.
You had to work from the basic letter sounds and stuff onto the other areas of literacy. It was my first time teaching adults, so the transition was a bit difficult, but I mean, I got into it. The guys made me feel comfortable, and so it has been good.
Class, what are we going to do today?
Change decimal to percentage.
What are we going to do?
Change decimal to percentage.
It's fun when teacher teach about percentage and them thing, and teach in a little tricky way to do it.
Students are interested in learning, right, and they try their best to maintain discipline and stuff like that.
And Mr. White is a living testament to what can be achieved if one is disciplined. Having been a participant in the CSJP, he completed his studies in primary education at the Jamaica University and is now empowering other young people. Administrators of the CSJP's pre-vocational training program worked tirelessly to educate and train the youngsters as they acted on strategic priority number 4 on government's list.
Many of them felt very stigmatized, and many of them had a low self-esteem, which resulted from the fact that they were unable to read at levels that they should.
But after intense work, a shocking revelation. 22 of the 25 students who took the Hard Trust entrance exams were successful, paving the way for them to move on to higher heights.
I feel overwhelmed. I say yes. I achieved what I come for. That was the aim, to pass the test. And I say yes, I did it.
I went to school from 2005, and I doesn't take up a book at home. And this program made me take up book and show interest of doing some work.
I think the success can be attributed to the motivation, to the quality of the instructors that we had, to the fact that the youngsters had to do the work which was necessary. We were able to come up with a new design for the syllabus, which really sort of focused on what had to be done in order to get them through the exams.
We are going to our next level, construction, getting a skill.
But the participants already have a rudimentary understanding of general construction, which will give them an edge when they begin CSJP's vocational program, Advanced Skills Training at Hard Trust NTA.
It teach me like to hold the hammer the right way.
You don't hold the hammer down in the neck, you hold the hammer at the end and you swing your wrists.
Well, my mindset is to inform other young men outside, in and outside the community, just to show that we get off the road and can come down at Operation Friendship and get it further.
I'm that star up in the sky, I'm that mountain peak up high. Hey, I made it, I'm the world's greatest.
To celebrate the achievement of the youngsters, a graduation ceremony was held at the offices of the JFLL. The results of a survey, the Learner Performance Feedback, indicated that the program did much more than help participants pass the Hard Trust entrance exam.
87% indicated that their team building skills have improved. Excellent. 91%, I want to listen to this, 91% indicated that their conflict management skills have improved.
I'm that star up in the sky. I'm that mountain peak up high. Hey, I made it.
You can't really look at persons from the inner city and say they're not worth it or they can't make it. If you as a teacher just do what you have to do, teach them, love them, just talk to them about reality and encourage them.
Come to Operation Friendship. We are willing, we are able, we have the manpower, we have the space, and we have the motivation to help wherever it is possible.
And I think that many of them see it now as a launching pad for greater things to do with their future.
So CSJP, Operation Friendship and JFLL have been working together to achieve government's strategic priority of human capital development, improving numeracy and literacy levels of unattached youth while developing their social and vocational skills, building their capacity to make them employable and marketable so they can contribute to national development.
Event promoters, show producers, it's gonna be a Jamrock summer. Is your event being staged between May 15 and August 15 this year? Then submit your event for inclusion in the Jamrock Summer 90 Days, 90 Ways promotional program. The event must include film, dance, fashion, food, literary arts, or other entertainment activities. There are several benefits to being part of the Jamrock Summer, such as local and international marketing support. Submissions must be made to the Tourism and Entertainment Ministry by Friday, February 13. For more details, call 920-4926-30 or send an email to entertainment@mot.gov.jm.
We're now moving to the Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment. That arm of government recently endorsed a concert to honor the 70th anniversary of the birth of reggae legend Bob Marley. Here are the highlights.
Won't you help to sing another song of freedom? Is all I ever have. Redemption songs.
Let me hear you. Why-yo? 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 You get up, stand up. You stand up for your rights. You get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight.
This week on the arts page, we're celebrating Bob's 70th birthday anniversary celebrations. And we're by downtown Kingston at the waterfront, giving you some highlights, as well as hearing from members of the public as we celebrate Bob's life and legacy. Let's take a look.
Red, green and gold were the colors of the night as the fashion and music fused to celebrate the life and legacy of the gong.
When you talk about Bob Marley, you talk about global.
He's the boss writer. The melodies are crazy, and I just love what he had to talk about. I loved his message.
Well, unity was my main thing, you know what I mean? When he united, the two party leaders together on stage, you know what I mean?
You know, Bob Marley's our king, though. Yeah, I mean, he's our daddy, just like Marcus Garvey.
The event, sponsored by telecommunications company Digicel and supported by the Ministry of Tourism, had hundreds of patrons coming out, reminiscing on the king of reggae and his contribution, which reached every continent. Through his music, Bob was able to strengthen the consciousness of black people, even as he spread the message of love and unity among all peoples and races in a message of equality that transcended borders and time.
Every man have a right to decide his own destiny, and in this judgment there is no partiality.
Being in Zimbabwe with Bob, while we were on stage, I mean, the revolutionaries who fought in the war, which were teenagers mainly, they were not invited to the opening ceremony. And they heard Bob Marley's music from how many kilos away. They will tell you that Bob Marley's music was the music that kept them on the battlefield. No woman no cry. Those little 14-year-old soldiers. And when they heard it, they bombarded the gate and the soldiers tear gassed them. We were on stage and we felt the sensation. And we thought we were going to die down in Zimbabwe.
Me, Sister Rita and Sister Judy, we all ran away, ran for our lives. Not even thinking about Bob. And at the end of it all, when everything came back to a calm, Bob went back on stage and finished his performance. And when he came to the house and saw the three of us, he just looked at us and said, now we know who are the real revolutionaries.
One good thing about music, when it hits you, you feel no pain. So hit me with music, brutalize me. Music now. Hit me with music, hit me with music now.
This is
Trench down rock.
I said, don't watch that.
Trench down rock.
Big fish or spread down.
Trench down rock.
You reap what you sow.
Trench down rock.
My interaction with Bob, I can say, is pretty much more than most people in the industry, because when I went to Studio One at the age of 7, Bob was there, and so I knew Bob, Sister Rita, Sister Marcia, Bonnie, Peter. I knew all of them since I was 7. So Bob used to call me Little Freddy, and that's what he continued to call me until he passed.
And even as we celebrate and laud Bob as an entertainer, his children who bear his heritage and continue his legacy in music and business note how as a father he has shaped them.
Music is something he poured his soul into. He sweat day and night, no, not just for economical benefits, but for things that will really enhance a community, make change, create change. And to see that that's still relevant because of what he started, his purpose for what he started, it's resonating even 60 years after and 70 years later, you know, from birth till when he started out, you know, like, what, at 16 years old, you know?
Children stand up for you. Yes, children stand up for you. Rasta children stand up for you. Yes, children stand up for you.
Another song of freedom.
Let's celebrate Jamaica to the world. Fastest man in the world. First Jamaican woman to win gold in Olympic 100-meter sprint. An upcoming global superstar. Mouth-watering meals. And a vibrant set of people. We are Jamaicans. Let's get together and bring back the love.
Stand up and get in the race.
I can become the master of my destiny.
Step up your stride, make we work like a harder. Do it like Veronica, more than a supper.
We can rise above the challenges and shine.
Was with passion in your heart. Make a plan and stop all the hyping. You think I saw? We reach a the aging. I can, you can. Like our Olympians, every Jamaican can.
And that's exactly what the students sitting the Grade 6 Achievement Test GSAT should be saying. I can. The Ministry of Education has announced that the test will be administered on March 19 and 20 this year. For those youngsters who may feel a little overwhelmed by the exams, up next, tips and strategies from persons in your age group who've already conquered the Grade 6 Achievement Test.
My name is Matthew Palmer and I'm 12 years old and my average in GSAT was 96.2. I got this certificate for getting 100 in GSAT Science and Social Studies.
During his tenure at Excelsior Primary, Matthew received a number of certificates, including a Certificate of Excellence, another for Values and Attitudes, and for his performance in a math competition. But what did he do to become so successful?
There was a limited amount of TV time that I had to sit down, and then I had to read over my notes when it was given, and I had to stay late in class very often. My teachers, they gave me the support I needed, and they helped me if I did not understand things, so I would understand it. I would say that math was the hardest for me, and language was the easiest, because I could get the principles in language better than maths. I was in the class when two teachers came, and then they started calling out scores and what school you passed for, and I was very excited when I heard I passed for Arden. I'd like to thank my teacher, Mrs. Brady Jackson, and my parents, Mr. Palmer and Mrs. Palmer. Sometimes I like to go outside and play cricket and baseball, and then I like to read, I like to go on the computer, and I like to watch TV. I would say that they should focus on the subjects that they have a little problem with, so it's not a problem in the exam, and that if they don't understand something, they should ask their teacher.
Hello, my name is Khalees Hare. I am 12 years old and my average in GSAT was 96.5%. Well, I'm usually getting 97 averages, 98 sometimes, and when I got 96.5, I was actually shocked that I got lower than 97, but then I realized I was going to Andrews and that I had passed, and that was one of the best grades. And then I cheered up and I realized you did do well. I would study each night after I'd finished my homework. I would do my homework, take a 15-minute break, and then I would study for 20 minutes for each subject. I think science was the easiest because science is my favorite subject and I've always done really well at it. The hardest one for me would be social studies. Social studies for me isn't exactly a key subject. I'm not good with dates. Sometimes I ask my mother and father to help me think of ways to remember them, or sometimes I ask my brother. Most of all, I'd like to thank my parents. They were the most supportive as any parent could be. And my brother, he was always there for me. When I was sad or gloomy, he would cheer me up, he would tell me jokes. I would like to thank my principal, my vice principal, my classmates, and my teacher at Jesse Paul Primary. I'm looking forward to all the new experiences I'll have. Everything will be slightly different for me. I know I'll have some of the same subjects, but I'm going to have different classmates, different teachers. Things will be operated differently. And overall, I'm looking forward to trying this new lifestyle. I really enjoy reading. Reading is my favorite hobby. Sometimes if I'm not reading, I like to listen to music. Occasionally I watch TV or use the computer maybe. Prepare well, study hard. It's going to be rough sometimes, but when it's all over, everything will be wonderful.
Thanks for spending time with us for this edition of Jamaica Magazine. Catch us again tomorrow on this station. Can't wait that long? Then visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for more information and keep up with us on our social media platforms. For those who are superstitious, remember, it's Friday the 13th, so be extremely vigilant. And for those who do not believe in that, it's all good. Just be wise, be cool, and do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.